Om. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunattu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Mavid Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukhat Bhag Bhave. We pray for the happiness of one and all. May everyone be comfortable and peaceful at all levels of their personality. May we see that which is holy and auspicious. May there be no suffering anywhere. Om Shanti Shanti. Does anybody have any question? So a human being alone has the potential to realize his divine self. No other creature is blessed with such faculty. Hence, one ought to utilize this proprietary power. Human development is measured by spiritual edification. So, as I was mentioning the example, let's say we are all in an island. Let's say there are a group of 50 people, and only one person has the skill to be a doctor. Then it is his duty to be a doctor and help the other 49 people. Similarly, of all the living creatures, the infinite variety of living creatures, human being alone seems to have, we don't know about other living creatures, human being alone, other living creatures, as far as our perception is concerned, they are born, they survive, they exist, they grow and they die. They procreate and they die. They don't achieve anything. If there is no, relatively also, they don't achieve anything except survival. It's only human beings, we are doing so many things in the world. And it seems spiritual practices, religion is one aspect of life which human beings alone can conceive. Human beings alone can conceive the self, pursue the self, and ultimately reach it. Therefore, he's saying the purpose of human life is human being alone has the potential to realize the self. It is our duty, it is our purpose of life for everybody to realize the self. One ought to use this proprietary power. And human development is measured by spiritual edification. And self unfoldment marks the progress of true civilization. Material wealth, emotional well being, or secular knowledge have little to do with it. It's kind of inconsequential. In fact, when we develop ourselves and sort our mind and intellect properly, we will exactly know where to develop the world, how to develop the world. We will develop the world without sort of polluting it. Now, half the inventions and discoveries that we do, there are a lot of side effects. It's not so. We need a very, very clear intellect to exactly know what is for the welfare of the world, what is for welfare of human beings. That happens with spiritual development. So doesn't matter what's happening at the material level, doesn't matter what's happening at the physical level. In the sense, we need to keep our body healthy, but we are something much, much more important that material level, physical level, emotional level, intellectual level is the spiritual level. On the spiritual level, we can get permanent happiness. So real development is about spiritual edification. And what is spiritual edification? That's the knowledge. How much wealth we have, how much love we have, how much worldly knowledge we have. That's no indication of progress in human beings. The so-called advanced nations of the world are far from advanced in the true sense of the term. People have and people are taking antidepressant tablets in the advanced countries. Is that development? The much talked about developed countries lack fundamental human development. The present day civilization has gone off the rails. Modern civilized ones without self development are but intelligent savages living in spiritual slums. So, spiritual slum means in a state of sorrow and suffering in hell. Whereas when we are attuned to the self, when the mind is under control, we are in heaven. Heaven and hell are not geographical places, they are states of mind. Attunement to the self, we find the kingdom of heaven within oneself. And if your intellect is strong and has higher values, the mind will be under control. Then that is true development. True development is marked by how much control we have over our mind and how much attunement we have to the self within, how much attunement to the truth we have. Everything else is a incidental part of life, not the main part of life. Now, in the world, we find hardly any importance given to spiritual development, and people are running after more money, physical pleasures, and emotional contentment. That's not the main purpose of life, main aspect of life. The world has been deprived of the essence of civilization. Civilization has come to mean mere material aggrandizement, emotional excitement, or intellectual entrancement. People are enslaved by the glamour for wealth and possession. Very, very gross. That's very superficial layer of life. Wealth is important, but not all important. Wealth can be exchanged only for sense objects. Sense objects means color and form for the eyes, sound for the ears, taste for the tongue, touch for the skin, smell for the nose. Wealth can only be exchanged for sense objects. You cannot buy love. You cannot buy knowledge. You can buy books, but you can't gain wisdom. You can buy a bed, but you cannot buy sleep. You can buy medicines, but not health. You can buy food, not appetite. All the important things of life cannot be done by wealth. Wealth has an important, but it's not all important. Today, it's become all important aspect of life. One of the greatest delusions is to believe wealth can give happiness. Happiness is gross. Hey, wealth is gross. Happiness is subtle. Happiness is a state of mind. You can have nothing and be very happy, or you can have a lot and be very, very dissatisfied. It is nothing to do with what you have or you don't have. But people are enslaved by the glamour of wealth and possession. You may have very little and be very, very content. You may have a lot and be very discontent. Even princes and presidents have confined themselves in material compartments with the stench of artificiality and conventionality. Others have succumbed to superficial emotions only to render their minds restless and nervous. See, attachment, that is selfish love, ego, jealousy, greed, envy, all this ultimately make the mind restless and nervous. Mind becomes restless and nervous because of two reasons. One is the intellect doesn't have proper knowledge, so you are confused. You are sort of very, very dependent. See, from an absolute standpoint, when we live a life where we are contemplating upon Brahman, on the self, and the nature of the self being it's infinite, it's all pervading, it is everywhere, everything, in every being. That is our true nature, which means our true self, our true nature is everywhere, in everything, everywhere. The conclusion of that is there is nothing to lose. What is there to be afraid of? Everything, we are the ocean. In the ocean, there is a wave coming up. It exists for a while, it will go back. Overall, to the ocean, there is no change happening. Now, when we develop a faith and conviction in this, when we are starting to contemplate upon this day in and day out, it becomes a part of our life. That, my God, what is part of our life? There is a clarity and conviction as to our relationship with that Supreme Brahman. That Brahman which is all pervading, that Brahman which is eternal and infinite, that Brahman which is everywhere is my essential nature. Once we start developing a faith and conviction in it, what is there to lose? The more we understand it, is of course zero and not zero. 100% is self-realization. Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahman. What confidence that person has. Even when we start genuinely believing it, what happens is there is no question of being restless and nervous. All this restless and nervousness comes when we are very, very dependent on the world. Your body is dependent on wealth, mind is dependent on emotions, intellect is dependent on something worldly. And the world is a harati nimesha kala sarvam. Time loots away anything in a fraction of a second. You don't know when it's going to go. One lady was telling me, was taking sessions at very, that one phone call, life can change. She was in London. She was going to go to the office. One phone call came, her mother is unwell, and then 2 years she was in India. So that Harata Nivesha Kala Sarvam, time can root away anything in a fraction of a second. So now if you don't have insight into that which is permanent, that which is temporary, that which is our real nature, so then you are completely dependent on something which is fleeting, which is ephemeral, which is going to go away any moment, which is not in our control. The Supreme Self, once we have that wisdom, that is in our control. So, so when the emotions are superficial, attachment, jealousy, greed, envy, mind will be restless and nervous when there is no foundation of spiritual knowledge. Some are lost in the labyrinth of secular knowledges, in the maze of worldly knowledges. Yes, worldly information is important in the field of your Swadharma, so that with proper knowledge you can contribute more. But to just keep on collecting worldly information, you get lost in something worldly. Humanity gropes in darkness. It's like completely lost in the dream world, no attempt to wake up. The moment we wake up, all problems are solved. From the waking state, from the waking state, what is material wealth in the dream? What is emotional well-being in the dream? What is all the knowledges in the dream? It means nothing. So all this, we have to turn spiritual. We don't have to give up anything. Whatever wealth the life has brought you, be content with that. Have good emotions, have good relationships. Everything can be good we live a disciplined, dharmic life in the world. That's fine. But must seek something higher. We must seek the self. We must attune to the self. That is the solution to all problems. Waking up. The solution to all problems in the dream is to wake up. You can go on correcting solving problems in the dream, but the solution is waking up is a different kind of solution. The world is caught up in a false pomp and show of progress and advancement. Neither the government nor the governed are aware of this stern reality. We are living in the dream happily. We are living inside a prison happily. Break free from this prison of time, space, causation. Break free from this labyrinth of perceptions, emotions, and thoughts. Break free from the body, mind, intellect, and seek the self. Salvation of nations and individuals lies in realizing these falsities and awakening to the reality of the true self. Beyond the body, beyond the mind, beyond the intellect lies the spiritual component of human beings, the Supreme Self, the Atman, pure consciousness. That consciousness enlivens the body to perceive and act. That transcendental supreme consciousness enlivens the mind to feel. That Atman enlivens the intellect to conceive thoughts, the intellect to think. So we can't just remain lost and caught up in the activities of the body, mind, intellect. Body is caught up in perceptions and actions. Mind is caught up in feelings and emotions. Intellect is caught up in thoughts. So we are caught up totally entangled in these activities of the body, mind, intellect. Now, beyond all this, through the knowledge of the scriptures and the words of the Guru, we have to develop this faith and insight into the self. What is this self? What is that which enlighens me to see? What is that which enlighens me to hear? Am I that? So the contemplation should be, I am that which makes me see, not what I see. Very, very subtle, very, very fine. I am that which makes me hear, not what I hear. I am that which makes me smell, not what I smell. In fact, what I smell also is God in a different name, with a different name, different form. There is only one material. This will be covered in the later in the book. Carbon in one form is diamond, carbon in another form is charcoal. Both are carbon. Carbon in one form is charcoal, carbon in another form is diamond. What is the nature of diamond? Diamond is rare, very precious, brilliant, sparkling, cuts through metal. Diamond is precious, brilliant, rare, cuts through metal, and precious. Charcoal is black, dark, brittle, perhaps a little easier to find than diamond. But both are carbon. Carbon in one form is diamond, carbon in another form is charcoal. Nama Rupa, just difference in name and form. Hydrogen is a combustible gas. Oxygen is a combustion supporting gas. One is a combustible gas, one is a combustion supporting gas. But when two molecules of hydrogen meets with one molecule of oxygen, we get whatever. We get water. Ascharya, wonderment. So it's all Nama Rupa, names and forms. Four triangles, you put it together, it becomes a square. Triangles have three sides. Two sides equal, one side is different. But when you put it together, it becomes a square with four sides, all are 90 degrees, equal sides. So, now from the known example, carbon and hydrogen and oxygen, etc., this is known. You have to go to the unknown. Unknown is what? Consciousness is unknown. That supreme homogeneous conscious mass of divinity, that supreme homogeneous conscious infinite mass of divinity, in one form becomes all the plants, another form becomes all the animals, another form becomes human beings, another form is the mountains, another form is the sun and the moon and the stars. Exactly like how the waker's mind becomes the dream world. It's all Nama Rupa. So, what I'm trying to say is, what we experience is also another name and form of that Brahman, that reality. The reality, which is the supreme reality, is unmanifest. But when it manifests, it becomes this pluralistic phenomena of the world. So what we are experiencing is also Brahman. But we contemplate, I am not what I experience, I am that which makes me experience. My true nature. My true nature is not what I am conscious of. My true nature is that which makes me conscious. So we must, one part of our sadhana, spiritual practice, training is learning to attune to the Supreme Self. Salvation of, we don't have to worry about nation. Nation will take care of itself. But we are saying, how do you take care of the nation? By taking care of yourself. You take care of yourself, the world will take care of itself. And how do we take care of yourself? Understands the false glamour that we are running after. We are running after material wealth. We are running after relationships. We are running after worldly information. We are lost in the labyrinth of secular knowledges. Different knowledges we are seeking. All that can go on. But most important is to awaken to the reality of the true self. So all that I was saying is trying to bring the self front and center. Front and center means become much more aware of the self. There is an infinite power functioning within us. What is that power which is making our digestion happen? What is that power which makes the kidneys function? What is the power which makes you hear, makes you see? 10,000 million calculations per second just to see. And we take it for granted. Yeah, hearing will go on, smelling will go on, brain should function, digestion should happen, heart should beat, lungs should do its role. We all take it for granted, but there is something infinite, something incredible all the time happening. Whatever is happening involuntarily, we say it's all grace of God, that supreme power, the self is functional. So we become more and more attuned to the splash of divinity everywhere. That is how we slowly awaken to the reality. And the other side is to prepare the personality, the body, mind, intellect to make this attunement effective, sincere, powerful. If with the body we are constantly indulging in pleasure and living a selfish life, self-centered activities. If with the mind we are only engaging in negative emotions, hating others, jealous, arrogant, and greedy, envious, stressed out, and with the intellect only either no knowledge or only worldly knowledge, then the body, mind, intellect is a poor equipment for contemplating upon the self. Then thinking of the self is a joke, it's a mockery, it's a completely self-canceling activity. But as we learn about the self, wonder about the self, become aware of the self, become aware of the splash of divinity everywhere, and that inspires us to be more sacrificial, more unselfish. I am not the body, mind, intellect. The body, mind, intellect belong to me. You identify with others, you embrace others with love, surrender in devotion, you develop a reverence and adoration for that supreme reality. You reach out to others with compassion and kindness. There is gratitude. There is an overwhelming sense of gratitude, understanding without the contribution of nature, without the grace of God, the enlivening principle, without the law of karma functioning, without the millions of other human beings contributing to the world, without the other human beings contributing to the world, without the power of nature, without fire, water, air, space, earth, without other living creatures, we are nothing. So to develop that sense of gratitude, the more gratitude we have, the more peace of mind we have, the more sattva we have. This will make the equipments, body, mind, intellect, more tuned in to contemplate upon the self. So there's two things. One is to become aware of the self. One is to prepare our equipments to become to effectively contemplate upon the self and ultimately become the self. How can a tamasic, rajasic, gross, selfish, egocentric person lost in kama, krodha, lobha, moha attune to the self? Impossible. So, see, one of the metaphors in the scriptures is the metaphor of bow and arrow. Arrow must hit the target, right? So you keep pulling the arrow, 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 keep pulling the arrow. Finally, release. Effort and then effortless. There's release. Without the effort and then letting go. So effort is pure karma, bhakti, jnana, karma, bhakti, jnana, karma, bhakti, jnana. Dissolve your ego, dissolve your selfishness, become more, get rid of the tamas, control your rajas, become more sattvic. Get rid of all this desire, lobha, greed, anger, krodha, hatred, all this dvesha, all this is the preparation. Finally, you let it go, you contemplate upon the self. All this is for contemplating upon the self. So get inspired by the self and practice the spiritual disciplines. Awakening to the reality of the true self is true civilization, it's true advancement. Human development is measured by spiritual edification. Spiritual edification is calmness of the mind, stability of the mind, and attunement to the self. So, more unstable the mind is, the more impure the mind is, attunement to the self will not happen. So, contemplating about the self is like a Burj Khalifa, 100-story building. But will that building stand without the foundation? The higher the building, the foundation must be strong. Karma Bhakti Jnana builds the foundation. our purity, our dissolution of the ego, our sacrificial nature, all that will build the foundation. Anybody has any question? How to gain wisdom? So generally we say, what is the difference between knowledge and wisdom? What is the difference between knowledge and wisdom?
Intelligence and intellect.
Intelligence and intellect. Knowledge is intelligence, just collecting knowledge. Ability to apply that intelligence is intellect. Okay, fine. It's wisdom. Anything else? Putting down in the chat. Intelligence, we can say, is just knowledge. Application of the intellect will lead to wisdom. Fine. What else?
Embodying the knowledge is the embodying.
Embodying. So, what is the word you used?
Embodying the knowledge, like, or
Living the knowledge.
application, as you, yeah, living the knowledge,
Living the knowledge is
implementing it, yeah.
implementing is wisdom. When you have wisdom, the knowledge becomes practical. When it's knowledge, it's just theoretical. You can talk about it. Talking about it is just information. Theoretical. When you start living it, then there is a transformation. So we must keep this process of Shravana and Manana until we transform ourselves. Shravana is listening, reading. Manana is constantly contemplating upon it. The more we contemplate upon it, knowledge is like putting, there is a cup of coffee or tea or whatever, milk, and now adding sugar to it. Will it become sweet? It will not become sweet. You have to stir it. So now you're receiving knowledge. Will you become wise? No. It will become wise when you start churn it, contemplate upon it. Keep on reflecting. Varam varam. Varam varam means again and again, again and again. Punha punha. Punha means again and again. Nityam. Constantly you have to keep on reflecting over it, reflecting over it. What is the nature of the world? World is a passing phenomena. It's a fleeting phenomena. Nothing is permanent. I don't know why I'm remembering all this. Buddha says it's shunyam. It's what is the world? Shunyam, 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 dukkham, 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 anityam, 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 shipram, shipram, shipram. These are deadly words. Shipram, shunyam, anityam. Another one, dukkham. This is the world is momentary. Shipram. Shunyam, it's a big zero. You come with nothing, you go with nothing, it's a big hollow. Like the dream world is a big hollow from the Veka's point of view. Anityam, again, fleeting, constant, dukkham, it's a full of sorrow, full of sorrow. All good things come to an end. All bad things also come to an end, but it all ultimately everything comes to an end, leaving us in sorrow and misery. So, contemplating, keeping all these, investigating these facts of life. Is it the truth? Why are they saying it? So the more we contemplate, we develop the spirit of detachment. And that should inspire us to do the practices better. So knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is theoretical, wisdom is practical. Knowledge is intelligence, wisdom is intellect. Knowledge is information, wisdom is transformation. Anything else? Knowledge is objective, outside. Wisdom is subjective. It's within you. Become part of you. These are just words, but just to internalize it. Knowledge is external. When you have internalized it, it becomes part of your system. When you have digested it, when you have absorbed it in your system, then it's wisdom. Knowledge is gained by sight, wisdom, insight. Knowledge is tuition, Wisdom is intuition. There are words actually, but it helps you. Wisdom is something deeper. You can't lose wisdom. You can forget the knowledge. So first we have to actually remember the information and tell the mind whether you understand it or not, better you follow these higher wisdom. You will be protected. Knowledge is food, wisdom is nutrition. Nice. When the food digested, it becomes nutrition. When the knowledge is digested, how do you digest the knowledge? There is no digested juice. You have to digest it by contemplation, by reflection. That is manana. Keep on thinking over it. Keep on listening to it from different angles. That's why in the academy we have group discussions. You listen to each other's thoughts. I didn't think it like that. I didn't think it like that. I didn't think like that. The more you churn it, the old, stupid, ignorant thoughts die away, and the fresh thoughts come into your mind. You become wise. Now let's see what this topic is saying. The world today is afflicted with binding principles and precepts, do's and don'ts. People are forced to abide by artificial rules of conduct. I'm saying follow the rules of conduct, but try to find out why is it there. And if it's something which does not make sense at all, then don't do it. If it's really harmful, then don't do it. But otherwise, don't have to discard the rules of conduct because you don't know where it will lead your life to. But find out why are we following these rules of conduct. The why is more important, not just following it. Mechanical adherence to external rules and regulation cannot change their inner nature. So, forced discipline is no discipline. The real discipline is that which is coming from within. We are studying these higher values of life so that there is a self-imposed discipline. Initially, we may have to surrender to an authority. Like we have joined the academy. The academy has a schedule. Now, nobody is forced to join the academy, right? Or nobody is forced to come. But having come there, we must surrender to the schedule. We can't do whatever we like. So initially, discipline is enforced. But that's not the real discipline. We are constantly given knowledge so that the discipline becomes self-imposed from within. So one is, see, they say, first the child has to do homework because of fear. If I don't do the homework, the teacher will scold me. But then when he understands the value of the homework, he does it through initiative. That is real growth. That is wisdom. So, initially, we may, in our own interest, see, will a child ever understand that it has to go to school? Going to school is good. Child will never understand. So adults very, very clear. So initially it is good for the child to just surrender. I mean, whether the child understands or not, it should better go to school. Later on, he understands that, okay. So similarly, we should sometimes surrender ourselves to a higher authority. But then we should keep questioning. It should not be a blind, unquestioned surrender. Wherever the scriptures talk about devotion, they also talk about pariprashnena. Pariprashna means questioning. It is questioning that will lead to thinking and understanding. And thinking and understanding is wisdom, will lead to wisdom. Understanding is wisdom. Mechanically repeating is knowledge. And in fact, in philosophy, they say, very, very, it hurts a lot. In philosophy, they say, if you know it, you will live it. If you're not living it, don't say, I know it. I'm yet to know it. If you really know it, you will live it. Example, I'm going to drink water. Somebody says, hey, it's poison. It's poison? Okay, I'll take it little less. Slowly, I'll give it up. It's not wisdom. If it's wisdom, you'll throw it. No, slowly. So when it's wisdom, you clean drop it. So we have to put in effort. Human being alone needs wisdom. Animals, wisdom is inbuilt. Whatever they need to live their life, it is already there. So, mechanically, we may initially follow the rules and regulations, but we have to make an attempt to understand why. Once it's why, it will come from within. Mechanical adherence to external rules and regulations cannot change your inner nature. Inner nature will change from your understanding, wisdom. Even threats and punitive actions will not mend matters. That's an external way of controlling. What we want is the internal control. Instead, that would suppress their minds and frustrate them. Eventually, if somebody is you're doing something because of external circumstances or external imposition, it will frustrate you. But when you do it with understanding, it elevates you. So gain understanding. Religious dogmas and doctrines thrust upon the masses cannot bring about spiritual development. You can't force people to be unselfish, not egoistic. That's not growth. From within you are unselfish. From within you don't want to throw your weight around. You're humble. The way to go about it is to instill the knowledge of the inner self. Gain the knowledge of the inner self, Atma Vidya, Brahma Vidya. That would eradicate sorrow and misery, ensure enduring peace and happiness. The truth, what we are told in the scriptures, the truth is as simple as this. The source of real happiness, the kingdom of heaven is within you. The source of happiness is the Supreme Self. Paramanand is inside us. And we are searching for happiness everywhere. Like that lady had the necklace on her neck and she was searching for it everywhere. We are happiness. We are supreme bliss, but we are not aware of it. Now through Shravana, Manana, contemplation, purification of the mind, we have to realize that happiness within ourselves. Anything external is a temporary support. You can take it, but don't stop pursuit of the self. Gain the knowledge of the inner self. That will eradicate real peace and happiness. It will make us self-sufficient, not dependent upon the world. When we are not aware of the happiness and peace within us, we are dependent on external things. Become dependent. And when that thing crashes, we crash. The process takes a while. There is no other alternative than patience and perseverance. You can try it out. You can try all the shortcuts and gimmicks. It will be as short and as gimmicky as the method. Real growth takes time, effort, patience, perseverance. One cannot gain it overnight. Even developing the physical body takes time. What you can see, what you can conceive, even thoughts we cannot see. Body we can conceive, but it takes so much time to get fit, depending on how unfit you are. It takes a while. One day of gym, one day of yoga will not make you fit. Developing positive emotions involves more time and effort. Now it becomes vague. Earning money, we understand. Developing the physical body, we are relating to it. Now, how much time will it take to develop positive emotions? Not easy to understand. It takes a while. If you are stuck with negative emotions, suddenly we don't become positive. Constantly trying, keep at it, keep trying. Lot of knowledge, lot of practice, lot of sacrifice, lot of effort is required at the emotional level, not to entertain anger, not to entertain hatred, to be able to forgive, to be able to genuinely love. All that requires effort. While intellectual education takes years, from kindergarten to graduation, this is throughout the world, whether it's America or China or Africa or India, everywhere education is kindergarten to graduation, 15, 14 years, just to gain worldly knowledge. Thus, spiritual edification requires far more time, effort, and endurance. So we should be prepared that this is not a 100-meter race. This is a marathon. Not one book once. Same scriptures you have to go over and over again. It's like imagine a container, and at the bottom of the container is the wisdom, is the knowledge of the self. The container is full with layers and layers of ignorance. So every class you attend may be removing one layer of ignorance. Every time you study a book, another layer of the ignorance is coming. Like that, you have to go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. It requires, so we have to prepare ourselves too. It requires a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of endurance, patience, and perseverance. That's a Shraddha. Shraddha is that incredible quality in a human being, Some say it's like a faculty only. Swamiji doesn't say it. Now, for what is worth? Since it's not something negative, I'm just saying it. Like body, mind, intellect, they say Shraddha is another faculty only. Now, where it is, don't ask me. I also don't know. But Shraddha is that incredible capacity to pursue something with dedication, commitment, consistency of purpose until you reach it, until the knowledge becomes wisdom, until the information brings about transformation, until you have detached from the body, mind, intellect and attuned to the supreme self within. That incredible capacity is called Shraddha. Shraddha is to pursue something which you cannot know. Self you cannot know. Self you can only what? Tanas, self you cannot know. Then what can you do? Feel. You cannot feel the self.
Experience.
Hmm?
Experience.
Experience. Self is something you can become. You can only experience. You cannot know the self with the intellect. You cannot perceive the self with the body. You cannot feel the self with the mind. You can only become the self. You can experience the self means there is no duality. You become the self. Knowing the apple doesn't mean you become the apple, but knowing the self is becoming the self. That's the uniqueness of this knowledge. So that requires tremendous time, effort, and endurance. Shraddha. You cannot know the self. Shraddha is the pursuit of self requires Shraddha. You cannot know it. Everything worldly you can know. Okay, he's become a doctor, whatever. You can any goal you can conceive it. Self you cannot conceive it, but yet you have to pursue it with effort, time, and endurance. That explains why people are disinclined to pursue spiritual knowledge. It's too vague, too abstract. They are more comfortable in indulging in physical pleasures, emotional relationships, some worldly gain, because that is immediate. What is immediate is not valuable. What requires a lot of time and effort, at least in this context, what requires a lot of time and effort is very, very precious. They do not want to set aside time and learning the deeper import of life, the higher values of life. That way we can congratulate ourselves that we are making an effort to learn the higher values of life. Now don't give it up. Continue this journey until you have gained identification with the self. They are averse to effort and exertion. One word we have to remember: effort. Two words: right effort. Effort with proper knowledge. Knowledge we are gaining here by coming to the class, by reading the books, we are gaining knowledge. Now we have to implement that effort, which is manana, understanding the information, and wherever possible, wherever we remember, put in effort to apply that information. Through this process of practicing it and understanding, slowly, we'll gain wisdom. Because we must set aside time, preferably in the early mornings of the morning, to learn the deeper import of life, the higher values of living. They are averse to effort and exertion, unwilling to strive and struggle for truth, and would rather choose the easy way out by following the herd blindly. Following the herd doesn't require effort. Sheep goes with sheep, goats go with goats, sparrows go with sparrows, pigeons go with, it doesn't require effort. But to be alone like a lion, fly like an eagle, that requires strength. That strength comes from wisdom. Following the herd instinct does not help. Consequently, the mass of humanity remains unspiritual, attached to the body, mind, intellect, running after material acquisition and possessions, running after materiality and sensuality, getting caught up in emotional entanglements. That is unspiritual, and are harassed by the trials and tribulations of the world. A child touches a hot plate and screams. It has no knowledge of fire and heat. Educate the child. Acquaint it with the knowledge of fire. It will never get close to it again. so does humanity need the knowledge of life. Vedanta. Vedanta is the knowledge of life, the fundamental principles of living, the manual of life, the spiritual laws that governs humans and their relation with the world. This is what we are learning. Spiritual laws that govern humans and their relationship with the world. Spiritual knowledge would remove stress and strain of life and lead humanity towards peace and bliss. Okay, any questions? Moving on. An essential prerequisite for acquiring knowledge is awareness of one's ignorance. You must become conscious of your ignorance concerning the spiritual aspect of life. Without being conscious of your limitation, you have little chance of learning. But the people the world over believe they have the knowledge already. Josh Billings drives home this point, drives home this truth. The trouble with most folks is not so much their ignorance as their knowing so many things which ain't so. Swamiji has put this line in, I think, in all the books. If you are humble that I don't know and I need to learn, then it's not difficult. You come to the class, you read the books, you gain knowledge, you apply the knowledge, you gain wisdom. Okay, knowledge to wisdom is not easy, but you're open to it. But if we are already in ignorance and the shutters are down, I know it all. He says the trouble with most folks is not so much of ignorance. Ignorance is not the problem, but I know when you don't know. So one of the very, very inspiring stories which I keep repeating is inspiring conversation with Swamiji, which I keep repeating it. Swamiji himself will say, see, very little is little bit original. Most of the time, we just copy paste. 20 years I've heard Swamiji copy. In these classes, paste, copy paste. Nothing is original. Just like a tape recorder, repeating, giving out. That's our job. We take it from the master, repeat it. He is given some seeds, we are throwing the seeds. Now, if your soil is fertile, the seed will germinate beautifully. If you have done proper karma and you are doing proper bhakti, karma is plowing the field. Sacrifice, sacrificial, unselfish actions. Bhakti is watering the field. If your mind is pure, you listen to these words, you will gain wisdom. So Swami used to say that any one of my student can teach Vedanta better. It's not really true because one person is talking from his experience and other are just repeating what they have heard. There is a world of difference. But sometimes thanks to his training only, thanks to Swamiji's training only, we may remember, okay, this class he said that, this class he said this class he said this, and we can put it together and make it seem like, oh wow, this boy is explaining it slightly better than what Swamiji did. So he says, Swamiji is saying, that's why when you listen to him, I would recommend at some point you should do e-learning. I think Tanaz has done it. I don't know who else has done e-learning. If you get on to the e-learning, e-learning is the same course that we have done at the academy. So you listen to Swamiji at your home, in your comforts of your home, one-to-one. Only thing is, it's not live. So you attend a live lecture like this, and you do the e-learning at home. So when somebody speaks from experience, it has its own punch. So he says, any one of my students can teach better. They can be a better teacher, but they cannot beat me as a student. I'm always learning. Always learning. I have seen him, in the 80s. After his afternoon sleep, he will take his iPad. iPad is like something like a very, very complicated machine. Talking about maybe 10, 15 years ago. And because he used to first have his books as runners, then he thought our iPad is most convenient. He will practice it. Swipe, swipe, swipe. You close it, put it on, swipe, swipe, swipe. Always learning, always learning. So we have to be a student of life all through our life until you have discovered the ultimate truth within yourself. When you have found out all the answers, whether the tree came first or the seed came first, whether the chicken came first or the egg came first, where did you come from, where are you going, when are you going, why are you here? All these are spiritual ignorance. As long as we are, I don't know what is the percentage, over 90% of the people are complacent. They think everything is okay. till that crisis comes. Bhajagovindam says no. Bhajagovindam, Bhajagovindam, Govindam, Bhaja Mudamate, Samprapte Sannihite Kale, Nahi Nahi Rakshati Dukrin Kanne. Pursuit, Bhajagovindam means pursuit of the self. Pursuit of the self is the only savior in times of crisis. At the time of death, only spiritual knowledge will get carried forward. Your gunas, tamas, rajas, sattva, only that will get carried forward. Not your wealth, not your relationships, not name, fame, power, position, all that we left behind. What did you bring this lifetime? Body, your karma. Body means you deserve the body and environment. That's your past karma. And whatever the nature of your mind is actually that you carried forward. So we have to seek the self, we have to find out the self and be a student all through life. Student means I need to know something. I don't know, I need to know. I don't know, I need to know. Keep your shutters always open. It's not that you have to keep changing. There's that quote. The illiterate of the 21st century is not one who cannot read, write, or speak. He's one who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. Alvin Toffler. Learn, unlearn, and relearn. Unlearn means, like Bernard Shaw says, you're always taking fresh measurement. Bernard Shaw, he said, who is the Bernard Shaw is a very witty guy. 3 quotes of Bernard Shaw. If you have a friend who is struggling to give up smoking, then you can tell this. Bernard Shaw defines smoking as cigarette. How does he define cigarette? A little bit of tobacco rolled in a piece of paper with fire at one end and Bernard Shaw is defining cigarette. Little bit of tobacco rolled in a piece of paper. There is a mantra for people who want to give up smoking. What is a cigarette? Little bit of tobacco rolled in a piece of paper with fire at one end and big fool. The fool at the other. Why fool? I'm burning my money and spoiling my lungs. You're wasting your money to spoil your lungs. It's God's gift. So he says a little bit of tobacco rolled in a piece of paper with a fool with fire at one end. Fire also is God, and a fool at the other end. Once he went to watch cricket. He was in England, Englishman he was. He wanted to watch cricket. First time he went to watch cricket, and he was a distinguished personality. He was a famous person, a very famous journalist maybe, or writer, whatever. So he watched for half an hour, and he promptly got up and left. So all the reporters, they went behind him. It's like Shah Rukh Khan coming and watching, and then suddenly he's leaving. I don't know, Shah Rukh Khan, whatever. So all the reporters asked, sir, you're leaving? He said, yes. So he said, why? They asked him, what did you think of the game? He said, I have not decided. So all the reporters went away except one young boy. One young person was there. He said, sir, what have you not decided? He said, I have not decided who is more mad. The 22 players playing inside the ground or the thousands of players watching, because why can't they decide what they want to do with that ball? One person picks up the ball, he runs like a mad and throws the ball. This guy, patak, it hits, and then 10 people running around and catching the same ball. And again they throw it back, and then again this baller is running. Again he throws it, again he hits. Why can't just they decide what are they going to do with that ball? And this madness, thousands of people are watching. The Swami used to say, we used to play football at the academy. Thank God he used to allow playing football. I have been playing for 20 years. So, and it's exciting. It's fun. It's a good way of getting camaraderie, developing friendship and exercise. Sports is a fun way of exercising. But in the class, he will say, why can't you just decide which goal to hit, which goal, and just score goals in one side? Why you have to keep on fighting? So it's a way of looking things. It's a different way of looking things. So Bernard Shaw, once Bernard Shaw story I'm saying. So once Bernard Shaw was asked, who is the most intelligent person you have met in your life? Anybody? Usha?
Taylor.
Taylor, because he takes fresh measurements. Don't take things for granted. Be open. Be a student. Always be a student. Always listen to others carefully. When you have to speak, you speak. Shakespeare says, I speak to thine, give thy ears to everyone, give your voice to few, speak only to deserving few. Otherwise, keep listening. Nobody listens, everybody's talking. I am also talking. Listen, when you listen, you learn. That's why Ganesha had a large ears. Out of that large ears came that large head, wisdom. Wisdom comes when you listen. So listen to carefully to one and all. Take fresh measurements. Learn, unlearn, relearn. Learn, unlearn, relearn is a limited usage. Means it's not like if suddenly somebody says no self and there is a something else is there and you're pursuing that. No, no, no. You just how do we know we are on the right track unless you are open to others? And if you're not open to others, you become fanatic, become rigid. That's not wisdom. Wisdom is where you know what you know and you are still checking. You're open to fresh measurements. Can this be right? 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 And that will strengthen your own conviction. Develop your conviction and have the courage to follow it. So, it's an important thing. We don't think we already know it. If you already know it, don't suffer. If you're suffering, if you're agitated, I need to learn more. I need to learn more. Shravana, Manana must constantly go on. So it's very simple. If you just this quality, if you develop, if you don't have this quality, you will not come to class. You will not read the book. If you feel that you know it all. No, I need to learn more. I need to learn more. It's amazing actually. As you keep yourself open and keep listening to the same thing over and over again, suddenly you will detect, okay, I was slipping here. I'm making a mistake with this. I was slipping here. So you're correcting yourself at a subtler and subtler level. Initially, a lot of correction, a lot of things to learn. But later on, you're going to the deeper bias and prejudice, taking things for granted. You never thought about it. So keep seeking higher wisdom. Scriptures is one thing. Listening to a live guru is another thing. Because you will interpret the scriptures on your own. So better to listen to somebody. Satsang. Be with people who are trying to live this knowledge. It is futile to try and instill knowledge into a person who firmly believes he knows it all. Better to keep quiet. If somebody says, I know it all, don't waste your energy. It's like throwing a ball to a wall. It will hit back to you. Yeah. Knowledge is always taken, never given. Therefore, if you acquire knowledge, you must keep your shutters of learning wide open. Recognize your areas of ignorance. Be humble. Even Einstein and Newton said, what is my knowledge compared to my ignorance? What we don't know is infinite. What we know is just a dot. With that dot, we are thinking we know it all. Recognize your areas of ignorance. Be ever ready to receive more and more knowledge. Be ever ready to receive more and more knowledge. Your pursuit of knowledge ends with the discovery of the self. The class also ends with this line. Your pursuit of knowledge ends with the discovery of yourself. Until you're woken up from the dream, keep learning, keep learning, keep learning. Once you are a waker, then the knowledge is complete. There is nothing more to learn there. As the Upanishad says, that having, so this, I think in Chandogya Upanishad, in one of the Upanishads, the father sends the boy to the guru's house to learn. And when he comes back, father asks, have you learned? He says, I've learned everything. Immediately the father understood he has learned nothing. Means he doesn't know the truth. So then he says, have you learned that having known which there is nothing else to be known? Suddenly the boy said, Arey, I said I know everything, but I don't know that having known which there is nothing else to be known. Then slowly he gets the knowledge of Brahman. No, he gets the knowledge of the heart. Right. Anybody has any question?
Vasanji.
Yes.
Vasanji, you told that the world is dukkham. Yes. All other three we can that does not depend on how we are looking at it, but whether it is dukkham or anandam, that depends on how we look at it. And if means when we are trying or on the path of spiritual development, then till we are not self-realized, and even if we are self-realized and in the bodily form, then Anandam, because self is described as Paripurna Anandam. So that without any reflection, how can that be achieved? Means, my point is that that Anand, for to get that or to understand that, you need some reflection, na? Or not?
See, we say, even Vedanta, we say that it's not what you meet in life that matters, how you meet it. So we can live a very happy, peaceful life in the world and realize the self. That is our goal, to be peaceful and happy under all circumstances, find peace and happiness, and ultimately realize the self. The dukkham is not used in that context. Dukkham is used in the context that body will go through birth, growth, disease, decay, and death. All relationships will come to an end. Everything comes to an end, ends in suffering, as it were. We don't know, the human psychology is that everything should continue forever and ever. But that's not the way it is. Now, applying philosophy, you can be peaceful and happy. So dukkham is not used in that context. Dukkham is used in the context of everything worldly will come to an end. Everything is a fleeting, ephemeral thing. So there is no real happiness in the world. Happiness is in the self within. In that sense, dukkham is used. I think Buddha is using. Buddha said dukkham, 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 sarvam dukkham. Everywhere there is sorrow. Relationships are, there's no harmony in relationships. So he's seeing the negative, darker side of life, and he's saying that that's unavoidable, no? Just as there is birth, there will be death. Just as there will be light, there is darkness. Just as there will be health, there is ill health. So when that darker side of life comes, he is a dukkham. It's unavoidable. So he's not worried about the passing happiness. He's worried about the sorrow. So he's seeing the sorrow, all the bad things, and saying his life is dukkham, dukkham, dukkham. How do you overcome that? By going beyond the world. So he's encouraging that.
Okay, okay.
We'll end the class with the prayer. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Vasu. Hari Om.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Hariom.
Tomorrow, those who are coming for the class will be, sorry, Jyotiji, the class will be 7:45 to 8:45. There is a talk in NSCI, which is at 11 o'clock. It's a physical talk. So I have to be for that event. Not my talk, my senior is giving. Those who want that information can message me. So online class will be 7:45 to 9:45, 8:45. Jyotiji, in case you miss, you can ask for the recording. I'll share it.
Fine. Yes, thank you.
Soniji, come physical class.
Tomorrow, 7:45.
Yes. Try.
Yeah.
Okay, Hari Om.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.